whatever. Oh,
Good morning, 5-star. Welcome to the 10,000 Club. This is kind of part 2 from last week. So hopefully people enjoyed our last week's kind of handling objections. We're going to kind of do the same format today. Doug and I are going to go back and forth with answers to the questions, take different takes on the answers, and kind of just go from the cuff here. We do have the questions that we were able to think about a little bit, but it's just kind of like we're going to go with what we feel today will be the best answer that we can give based on their questions. And one of the things I'd like to say is when they ask me a question, I typically will ask them a question back and try to get more information about what they want or are thinking they want me to know. So So there's a lot of questions back and forth, and it's kind of hard with this format to do that, but that's what we're going to try and do. So again, I hopefully enjoy it. We're going to do sellers today. We mostly did buyers, and if we get through this, then we're going to do buyer and sellers. And so if we don't get through it this session, we'll do it next week. So hopefully you're enjoying it, and Kim's going to be our facilitator. So good morning.
good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Kim. Morning,
So
Trace.
we're going to start on sellers, but we want to point out the number one goal when you're working with buyers or sellers is always to build rapport, right? The minute we step in that door or in that meeting, we are looking to build rapport. Remember, buyers and sellers do business with those they know, like, and trust. And so they might maybe know you, depends on the person. They could be a friend, so they already know, like, and trust you. So maybe you don't need to spend as much time on building rapport, but know your client and know why you're there. But I always say, I don't sell homes, I sell or give or develop trust, because trust is really important for someone to do business with you. So we'll start with that, and we're just going to jump in. So say I have just showed up, I've knocked on Paul's door. He answers the doors, says, "Hi, Kim, how are ya?" We sit down at the table, right? And this is kind of awkward because we're not role playing the whole thing. But one of the questions I might ask Paul is, so he's there to list my home, right? So one of the questions that might come up is, "Hey, Paul, what do you do to sell? What will you be doing to sell my home?"
Well, one of the things that I do to sell your home is part of preparing your home to sell. I think we have to package the home. When we go to sell your home, it is not just, like, what am I going to do to get a buyer and a seller? It's kind of a process. And so what I am going to do is come through your home. I'm going to take a walk through it. I do a 2-step process to kind of figure out what I'm going to do to sell your home. So I'm going to come through. You're going to tell me what you like about it. I'm going to take a bunch of notes of crown molding, raised kitchen cabinetry, granite countertops, double vanity sinks, all the stuff that you have, the upgrades that you might have done, what's new in the home that a buyer would say, cool, the roof's only 6 years old, those kinds of things. Then I would go back and do a market analysis and come back and give them a market analysis. During that time, when I do the walkthrough, I will be pointing out tips to them of what they could do to help improve the sale of the home. And this is when they say, what do you do to sell the home? We have to prepare the home to sell. Dress your house for success kind of thing. And so I would point out things about the kitchen, like take all the stuff off the refrigerator. I know it looks cute, the family, the kids stuff is great, but we want it to look like a quote model home. So we need to get all the stuff off the countertop. We got to straighten up the garage. I mean, all these little things are important to sell your home. So once I go through kind of the walkthrough and then come back and do the market analysis and we determine a price, I will explain to them that one of the key things that we do today, back in the old days, is we have professional photos done. And that is something very important we have to do. And one of the things that I'll also say, depending on the property, is that we'll include a drone and do some video shots with that and just really make it as nice as looking as we can, because people are going to go click through the internet and they're going to click through some pictures. Here's another tip that I want to give you that a lot of agents don't do, is that they will get the pictures and they don't look through them and they don't put them in a specific order. They'll have the front of the house, the side of the house, the other side of the house, the other side of the house, the deck, the backyard, the tree, the birdhouse. No, you don't want to do that, because when someone goes to click on a home, they're not going to click 30 pictures to get to the kitchen. So I strategically place the pictures that are going to keep them on the site to go through the home. If this house has an outbuilding, it's probably my 4th picture, because someone's going to want an outbuilding. They don't need to go to the 68th photo. Same thing with different views of the home. If you've got on a river or a creek, a lake, Lake Michigan, I don't want to get to 50 pictures to start seeing the view from the window, from the deck, or things like that. So I think that's a different thing that I do, is I strategically place the photos to keep that buyer on your site. And you can have all those other photos, which I think are fine, but get them at the end so then they can get through it. But you want to keep them on that house. So that's one of the other things I do. The other critical thing is we have to price this home properly. We have to price it properly to be competitive. I got to look at solds. I got to look at actives. We got to look at how long the home was on the market. What was the percentage of sales? And you can get all this online. What it listed for and what it sold for, 99%. So we're talking about probably we're going to get a offer 1 to 2% off list. Today, we've been going over list. The market slowed down a little bit, so we might not be as aggressive with the price. If you talk to friends and family about something like this and how they've gotten $50,000, $60,000 over asking, it's maybe not quite like that now. So those are the things that I'm going to do.
Hey, Paul, can I interrupt you really quick? Where is this conversation happening?
At the kitchen table with both people there.
Okay.
Strategically placed.
So
I don't want to be across from them. I want to be on the side of them. I never sit across someone. Never, ever, ever, ever. I feel it's too much like they're on their side, I'm on my side. I don't do that. So, and I never sit on the couch when they say, well, let's sit in the living room. I say, no, please don't. I need to sit in the kitchen. I control the whole meeting. I was told in a class one time that you should always ask for a glass of water because it gives you like, you're confident. When you walk in, take the glass of water or coffee when they ask you, even if you don't drink it. And so I do that. I don't know if it works or not, but I do, just kind of to give me like, okay, I'm confident.
Okay, so I'm gonna, so we can, we'll come back and we'll do a pretty in-depth seller consultation. So that was awesome, but that is one question that's gonna come up. And as you can see, there are a lot of moving parts to it, and you'll want to really study those. So we're going to go back to the next question. What I might say to Doug is, well, hey, Doug, so I understand what you do to sell homes. You know, that was an amazing lot. You sound like you do a lot of things for me, but you know, my friend Tracy, she's my friend. So why should I list with you and not Tracy? Because I really know Tracy, and you know, she lives across the street over here down the cul-de-sac, and why should I choose you? You have a lot of, you know, you told me a lot of things what you do, but what makes you different than her?
Well, and I might come back with a comment. You know, what's important in hiring the right agent. So again, I might ask the question. Paul said he answers a question with what? Another question. So I might say, well, let me ask you this: what's important to you in hiring the right agent?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. So I get them asking me, you know, well, or not asking me, telling me what's important to them. And I always love to say things like, well, I can really appreciate where you're coming from. We all know someone in the business, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We all have friends and family in the business. Are you looking to, and again, this is something that I say, but I'll say this very casually. Are you looking to do a friend a favor, or do you really want to sell your house?
I like that.
Yeah.
And I get real quiet after that because I want to hear what they have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you know, I always say to people, some of the toughest people to deal with in real estate are your family and your friends, right? What happens if that experience with your friend doesn't work out the way you want it to? Are you willing to sacrifice possibly a friendship? I don't know. So I said, this is a business decision, so I really would like you to kind of look at it that way. And I get very quiet after that because, again, I kind of put the ball back in their court. And that tells you a lot about their motivation to sell, how highly, you know, they want to make sure that they're using the right agent, the right agency. And again, that's where my answers are very short and sweet when it comes to that. Paul, I don't know if you would say the same thing, or Trace. What would you guys say?
Or let me, before we answer, would you come back with, would either of you come back with another question on that? Because that's a big one. I think that's a big conversation. So do you have anything to add, or would you come back with another objection as the seller? Go ahead. Tracy?
I only really can speak to what, my abilities and my previous history. That, to me, that speaks for itself. I don't want to try to convince somebody to, hire me versus their best friend. I think at the end of the day, once they've heard from me, they've heard my story, they get to know me. Often the reason I got an invitation to the, to the kitchen table, because I'm with Paul there. I love to sit at the kitchen table. I feel like life happens at a kitchen table, families dine at a kitchen table. And so I feel like that is like a common place in a home that feels very comfortable. So that's my preferred place to be as well. But at the end of the day, it's a know, like, and trust. And if they didn't know me or knew someone that knew me and liked me and trust me, if they didn't know me personally, I wouldn't have a seat at the table. So my job is to build a rapport, tell my story, and let them know why I would be the best choice. At the end of the day, they get to decide. But I know when I left the table, I have communicated the best things about what I'm able to do for them and the ways in which I'm able to help them accomplish that.
Well, and the trust piece that Kim talked about early on, absolutely. If they didn't trust you, you wouldn't be sitting at that kitchen table, right?
Yep.
So,
And one of the things too that I think is important is that if they're asking you this on the phone, I try to dodge that and see if I can set an appointment to get at that kitchen table. Because you need both people hearing it. They need to see you. The interaction together builds, I think, that trust, especially hearing from both of them, because then the wife will say, or husband will say, well, I really want to work with Tracy. Well, you didn't hear what this guy said to me. And so now they're kind of debated in their own self, what do we do?
Right.
And so again, asking questions and, with experience or marketing, here's one of the things where that seller's 5-star booklet, even if you don't go over it and leave it, if they look at it, you might be that edge of that. This is professional.
Right.
Bring in colored feature sheets. And so I'm going to make you a feature sheet like this. This other person who's a friend is probably thinking they're getting the listing and comes in and says, how you doing? So, I come in a little more loaded for bear with stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's really important to have both decision makers there if there are two. Okay. And if it's a family, I mean, we've all been in these situations, right? Where mom and dad have passed away and now the home is left to 4 siblings and you're talking to one. And this is a disaster. So you really need all the decision makers in the party. Okay. I don't care if it has to happen on a Zoom call or at the kitchen table, but it needs to happen together, because at the end of the day, those are all the parties that have to make the decision. And so like when Magic Window calls here in Detroit, hey, we want to come give you a quote on a window. And it's like, okay, sure, I'll be home. Well, will your husband be there? Well, oh no, they can't have the meeting without that. So as much as that always drove me crazy when these people, stop and knock on the door, it's really an important piece, because they don't want to waste their time in the same way we don't want to waste our time, right? Because we need all the pieces and parts to the people who are the decision makers at the kitchen table.
And with Zoom today, there's no reason not to do it. A Zoom call would be great. I mean, I've done the 3-way on the phone, but like you said, there could be multiple siblings and you're not going to get 5 people on a phone call. So the Zoom thing is so easy to use now and everyone's using it. I mean, there should be no reason why you can't.
Yeah. Yeah, because you need to communicate body language and humor. Humor doesn't even come across right on the phone, but actually humor can come across even on a Zoom call. So there's that, we're human. There's a human side to all of this that we're trying to communicate.
Right. So Tracy, I appreciate you coming here today and getting a chance to talk with you, but I'm kind of thinking of just selling my home myself. I just, I heard houses sell really fast. And so I'm thinking I might just throw it on Zillow and see what happens.
Yeah, I understand that. And I'm sure that you're talking with other people who have had success in doing that. And I certainly have conversations with those people as well. But I can just tell you from experience that you probably haven't sold a house in a while. And I think that's the difference. This is my business. I do it every day. And I'm trying to help people get from A to Z without the least amount of pitfalls along the way. I have this great little diagram that I use that shows the steps 1 to 10, and it's a lot of squiggly lines. And I think my company puts this marketing piece together because it's truly not a straight line. And so my ability to help you is that I sell about 50 houses a year. And I'm looking at building relationships with people, and I really want to do a great job for you, because I know that if I don't do a great job for you, unfortunately, I'll never get the opportunity to meet your friends. And I know that in my experience in this market right now, people are really getting top dollar for their home. So we need to make sure it's in all the right places. I could give you examples of houses that have been for sale by owner near me, and they kind of sat for 60 days. And then an agent that I happen to know came along and was able to get that listing, and it sold the weekend it went on the market. And the reason it sold was not because this particular agent had some magic, but it was because they were able to get it in places that the homeowner themselves wasn't able to. And in this case, it was a buyer that came from Texas that saw it online, bought the house sight unseen. So we really don't know where the buyers are going to come from, but we know if we put it in all the right places, we can even help people like you that are thinking about selling on your own. And we realize that, you know what, it's expensive to sell your house, which is important when I help you buy a home, that we look at, we buy the best house that we can, that's in a great neighborhood, that doesn't butt up to a busy street, because today you're a seller, tomorrow you could be a buyer.
And if I might just say something about how complicated it is to sell a business, you just touched, or sell a house, you just touched on that.
Yep.
You know, it's probably been a while since you've sold your last house, correct? And they probably say, yes. Well, boy, has the business changed in that many years. And so if you point out the importance of why they need you in the picture, again, to make sure that that squiggly line, as you talked about, from beginning to end gets accomplished, that's a whole different thing, because it's intimidating as the dickens to sell a house in this market, right? So, agreed.
One of the things that I have said recently, because the market's been so hot, if there is a time for sale by owner to list with the agent, it is now. Because it's like what Tracy said, is that you are going to get this exposed. And a lot of the buyers have contracts with agents, and the agents are not going to run over to a for sale by owner first thing and want to deal with this, because it is a lot of work, and they're going to avoid you unless the buyer finds you and then wants to see it. The other thing is with the market being so hot, the agents will create a bidding war that a for sale by owner does not have the ability to do. And so to me, in this particular market, it is so important, if there's any time a for sale by owner should list, it is now. If the market's different, they might have a better chance at times. But it's still complicated with inspections and well and septics and all that stuff, and title and everything that goes on. But I really think in this market today, it is so important to have the buyers, not the agents, the multiple buyers raising that price. And so today, that's what I would say.
Right. Well, Paul, that is beautiful. And that's the benefit of me talking and you guys being able to think, is that you're thinking of all the things that I missed. But I think that is an important piece of it, big time. And pricing it right to find the sweet spot as to where to find those buyers to compete. But the for sale by owners don't have the depth of knowledge. I mean,
Right.
Even our new agents, that's our job as the broker support team, to help these new agents. I sat with a new agent of ours this weekend who had multiple offers on vacant land, 7, 8 offers, 3 of which she wrote herself. And it's confusing, but that's what we're here to do, to help. And that's where we can set ourselves apart from the for sale by owner that doesn't have the tools in the toolbox to know how to deal with this. Thank you. That was good, Paul.
One of the things that you said, Paul, was, and you both have said it, but I say directly, I can expose your home to 1,000 people, 1,000 agents who have buyers alone in my market. But it also populates out to all of the Southwest part of Michigan. So we're reaching thousands and thousands of agents who have portals, where when you go by owner, as Paul said, they're not checking for sale by owners. You might get 1 or 2, But when you list with me, I'm going to expose you. I go a little bit further into thousands of agents who have clients and they are matched up, and once you list with me, your listing, your home's going to go out to thousands and thousands of agents that match that criteria. And then the other thing is I do focus on the noise. There's a lot happening, and you both all, sort of touched on it, but I go into depth. There's a lot of things happening, from setting up all the showings, pricing, staging, getting your home ready, marketing it. But once the activity begins, it can be very, very overwhelming for a seller. So I'm going to manage that for you. You can go away for the weekend. I'm going to take care of it for you. And then as those offers come in, which everyone touched on, is there's a lot of terms that and I sort of kind of scare them with my language.
Yeah.
There's escalation clauses, there's appraisal gaps, there's possession times, there's the bottom line net sheet. There's a lot of different things that go on in this market that I'm going to help guide you through that. So I purposely bring up those words so that they go, oh my gosh, that sounds scary, right? So everyone said the same thing, just a little bit more detail to that.
What do my attorney friends love to say is the number one reason for lawsuits in America today are people that try to sell their own properties.
Yeah, there you
Isn't
go.
that
And
crazy? It's just, but it's true.
and I don't remember the stats off the top of my head, but there are stats out there that tell, I believe it's after 30 days, what percentage actually list with an agent. And I'm sorry, I don't have it on the top of my head, but it's out there. So good work. All right. All right. So you've convinced me to list with you. So now, I just want to start higher because, we can always lower it as it goes, as we can see what happens, and I can always lower it later. But I really want to start high because I know I've heard I can really get this price for my home.
Who wants to take that one?
I will.
I
Come on,
love
Tracy.
I love the objection when people want to do that, because again, I try to think of our new agents too. So this is where the 5-star seller's book is really good, right? In the seller's book, we've got that timeline on like page 3, I think, maybe page 4, whatever, but it shows you when you list that house at the appropriate price, in those first 14 days, what happens? It's a big timeline. And I can tell you that if you list it too high, it goes straight up like this and it comes straight down again. And when those houses go into those portals at 549,000, but really it was a 524 house, right? Or a 510 house. When it sits for 10 days and then the agent lowers the price again, it's a small spike up and straight back down again. The buyers don't circle back. They're savvy. Their agents are savvy, and your house will get missed. The job of the agent is not only to help you get the house prepared to sell, but it's their job to help you price the house, to know where the sweet spot is. I know that as I look at homes, I look at what did they list for? What did they sell for? How many days were they on the market? And chances are we all know that in recent times, they all went over ask price, but that's not where we're going to start at. We've got to find the spot where the buyers are going to interact and intersect with one another, that are going to drive the price of the house up, because they can't get what they can't have, or they can't have what they can't get. And so that's the really important piece of it. So again, I want our agents who are new agents to spend the money or print. You don't have to spend the $5 to buy the book. You can just print these pamphlets at home, the buyer book and the seller book. But that's the seller book. It says, hey, don't miss the mark, right? This is what happens. You're going to miss the buyers. So
One of the things that I do with the pricing in the listing presentation is when I go through the comparables, I will ask the seller on each comparable, do you agree about this house? Do you think this house was good of the things that are in it? Do you think this house is comparable to yours? And you need them to get to say yes, because when they say yes on 4 comps, and then they says this is 385, but we want to list it for 425. You just said these last 3 comps were 385. You just said, yes, you agree with me that these houses are similar and and this is kind of the price range. So why do you think it's going to sell for more? The buyers are going to go through all these houses that are active through 385. You are going to help these other houses because they're going to go through yours and say, well, this one's a better deal. Or buying a car. This one's got less mile, more options, and it's cleaner. And you want $5,000 more for your car? No.
I always say that this is worth 45,000. You're telling me your house is worth 45,000 more dollars than the ones that you've just said yes to. There's the perfect analogy right there, right?
Get them to say yes to agree to the comp. They will sit there and look at you when they want to say 425. They're going to go.
I like to always tell my clients to look at it from the perspective of a buyer, like go to the other side and look in, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, see how we're comparing and how you're a buyer going through this house, and your house, and how does that look? The other thing that I say in this particular market is, I understand that houses are going for over asking price and there's a demand, but there's a really fine line where we create the competition and we can create those kind of above asking price. But I'm finding that if we are overpriced, buyers are resisting it. So it's so important to list properly because they will go typically over to win. But if we are just even slightly too high, our job is to get you the most money in the least amount of time, right? But if I go too high, they will resist us. And then it will not create the competition that we're looking for. Now, let's say they do say, well, I want to try it there, Kim. And if you're willing to do it, I'll say, we're going to try it here. We're going to list on Thursday and we're going to see what happens by Monday. And I need you to agree to me that if we don't get what we're looking for on Monday and Tuesday morning, we are coming down to X price, and put that in your listing agreement. There's a difference between asking them and writing in an agreement and being able to do it. But that's a very fine point right now. It's very touchy, is where is that bridge? Where are we going to create competition? And then where are they going to just not even look at us?
You got it. Boy, you got that right. And I'll tell people that too. Buyers are smarter than they've ever been. How often are you with a buyer and the buyer says, hey, I remember the one down the street sold for whatever. And you're looking at them cross-eyed like, how did you know that? So they know what's going on, right? So don't think they're not doing the same thing each and every day, whether it's through Zillow or some other way. They're smart. And so the things that you can do, and I always tell sellers, one of two things is going to happen in the first, let's say 2 weeks that we list. Either we're going to get a lot of people through the house, or we're going to get very few people through the house. That has a lot to do with the price. That's got much to do with the price. And
feedback, right? And
feedback. Back to what Tracy said, Paul said, we've all said it. Do the homework up front. Spend the time, the necessary time with the CMA. Again, those are the things that I think a professional, that'll separate you from the majority of agents that are out there. If you do your homework before it's listed, set the expectation as to what that's going to look like. Again, Kim, perfect. Write it right in the contract. If after 2 weeks we don't see what we're looking for, guys, here's where we're going. Does that make sense?
In this market, I don't wait 2 weeks. We know right?
Or 1 week. You're right.
We know right away.
Yeah. And I know we're running out of time, but I wanted to say this too, is that, feedback is important. I think we're getting less and less feedback, at least in my market we are. I mean, I took a class where a broker basically said, don't give feedback, that you're hurting your clients by saying, oh, we got to have it. We love it. And then they're like, okay, I want a big, great offer, So, but at the end of the day, pay attention to the feedback, because no feedback is feedback, right? It's like, it wasn't, hey, the house smelled like nicotine, bad pet smell, smelled like dogs, messy, leaky roof, that kind of stuff says condition of the home. And that's why you're not getting an offer at that price. So overpriced, right? The no feedback says overpriced. So pay attention to feedback. No feedback doesn't mean, hey, we didn't get bad feedback. Well, no feedback means no offers, and no offers usually means overpriced if you're not hearing about condition.
Agreed.
What I say to the people is, if we get too many showings with no offers and we get no showings with no offers, the market is speaking to us.
Listen.
Gotta listen.
They're telling you.
What I always
Don't please, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, say, well, we had 7 showings. They all said no. They didn't say no, but they said no.
Right.
What I always
Oh.
share is that if we're having a lot of showings and no offers, it means they liked what they saw on paper, but when they got in the home, they didn't see the same value.
Yep.
Right.
Or if we are getting, that's really where I started, is if we're not getting any showings, they're not even seeing a paper, right?
Right. Right. It's
So
overpriced.
Yeah, it's overpriced, they're not coming in, or then we're getting showings but no offers, they are still not seeing the value once they get in, maybe there's something they can't see. So
Yeah.
I'll give a really quick example before we close. I listed a house a week ago, top of the price, had good comps for it, but what I didn't accommodate for, and I had shared with my seller, this is probably going to be an objection. So when you came in the home and you went to the 3 bedrooms, it was set up very differently. There wasn't a really true hallway. So we had showings and it looked great on paper, but when they got there, the feedback was, oh, those bedrooms are kind of awkward, right?
Mhm.
Those
Yeah.
are the things where they get in. So I told them, we're going to talk about that if we start getting this objection, and we'll change it. Well, for us, because amazingly, I had 1 offer come in, so it only took 2. We got over asking price cash, quick to close. So you just never know, but our job is to put the house out there. And sometimes we have to let the buyer give the negative feedback and stay their friend, right? Let them know we believe in your home. So this is all so good. I can't believe it's 10:31. Any final thoughts before we sign off? It's like we had so much fun, time flies. Any final thoughts on your mind before we get off here? Nope.
No.
Good stuff.
Buyers and sellers next week combination. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. So we will be here again as usual. We're here to help you, support you, answer your questions. If you don't know how to find us, look at your who to call list, call the main number, have the.
Call me, call me, call me.
Everybody call Paul.
There you
Everyone
go.
call Paul.
He's
I
waiting
can't
for
stop
you.
talking. I talk, 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 talk.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
All
Bye.
good, all good.